Hi, Lisa W. Rich here, and what I wanted to talk to you about today, or to convey to you today, is this whole glorification we have around doing, that we must always be doing, and we don't actually allow ourselves or the time to just be. We're constantly having to fill our days, and that leads to overwhelm, to stress, and eventually to health issues. So I, in the last year, have had an extremely busy year, as you've probably heard me mention before, but last year I battled a little bit with my health, nothing too major, but this year I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid as well. Not to the point where I've had to go on medication, thank God. I am healing it naturally, which is a whole other story. And I'm actually feeling like it's healed, but I haven't gone back to have the test done yet. But part of that healing process was talking to my doctor, who luckily I found a great holistic doctor up here in Noosa. And once we got talking and he understood where I was at in my life, he said to me, "You need to slow down. You need to stop." And for a medical doctor to actually say that made me really check in with myself and try and work out where I could pull back, where I could alleviate some stress from my life, because I've always been a fairly, go, go, go kind of person. And stopping has never been one of my strong points, even though I've always taken time to do some self-nurturing, meditation, and, the things I preach, but there was still a lot of doing in the background, So it really made me go, okay, well, if I don't get this under control, I'm going to have to start popping a pill, basically, to get the thyroid under control. And that's the last thing I want to do. That's just not my path. No judgment on that, just not my path. And if I have the opportunity to heal it naturally, why wouldn't you, is my thinking. So apart from looking at diet and a whole lot of other lifestyle choices, and believe me, I have a fairly healthy diet, as you all probably know, but there were some tweaks. It was taking out gluten, taking out dairy. For a while there I was not eating hardly any carbs at all. He had me on quite a keto kind of diet, which I've since adjusted for myself because I don't feel personally that that's the best thing for me. So besides all of that, it was, okay, how do I slow down? And this has been a recurring theme in my life, as I'm sure it is for many of you. How do we actually slow down? Because we have all these things that we want to do. We have the to-do list in our head. We have children. We have a job. We have other things that we want to achieve. We have friends, family, studying. It just goes on and on and on. So I really needed to look at how this was going to happen in my life. And a lot of it was really just taking the time to stop and freaking breathe. We don't do it, and we don't allow ourselves, because then the other trap that we fall into is when we do stop, we feel guilty. So we get the guilt. So then that creates a whole other layer of stress, because we're feeling guilty. We're not actually stopping and allowing ourselves to just be. I have since learnt how to do this, and this morning, this is a Saturday morning up on the Sunshine Coast. It's a bit rainy, dreary, which is awesome because it's very rarely like that up here. I've stayed in bed the whole morning. I have stayed in bed. I've gotten up and I've meditated, and I've gone and made myself breakfast and coffee and come back to bed and reading, and I'm not just lying there like a zombie, but it's so relaxing. And I have managed to take out any of those last remaining vestiges of stress that sit in the body, particularly around that guilt. Oh my God, why are you doing this, Lacey? You've got this to do, you've got that to do. No, it's about prioritizing some being time. And then what you find from that, once you actually stop the doing and this chaos of doing, and the list running through your head all the time, once you actually stop and you breathe and you allow quiet, oh my God, your levels of productivity actually increase. Your creative zone, which is, problem solving if you're in the workforce, corporate executive, increases. You allow clarity to come in. You allow creativity to rise. You allow this stillness where when you are actually doing something, you're performing so much better because you're doing it from a more centered place. So then you're more focused on that one task. So it can actually create, it sounds, almost like an oxymoron. By not doing as much, you are actually more productive. And it's a balance. There's a balance, obviously. But it's a wonderful, wonderful gift to give to yourself, to prioritize that time. So I really wanted to share that with you because it's so important. I see so many people just doing, and one thing I do see as well in a lot of people I know is this, I call it this phenomenon of faffing. So they're always doing, and it gets back to what I just talked about, productivity. They're always doing, but their productivity is not that great. By the end of the day, quite often they haven't achieved the things that they actually wanted to achieve. They're just busying themselves with faffing. I call it faffing. And you ask them at the end of the day, well, why have you been late for this? Or did you get that done? Or did you get that done? No, I just, oh my God, my day was so busy and I just had all this stuff to do. Did you? Did you really? Could you have actually just taken a breath, prioritize the things that you needed to get done, and then with the rest of the time, that's up to you. Maybe you could actually just have a cup of tea and breathe, or go for a nice walk, or whatever it is that actually nurtures your soul, and it creates this cycle of being more productive. It's counterintuitive to the way we've been taught, I know, but believe me, it works. I feel it. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my mind. My mind has become so much more clearer. And that is something that we all need today because we have so many things coming in from everywhere at us. To create that clarity of mind is really, really important. So I hope that has helped you on some level. If you do want any more information, or you want to contact me, you want some more tools, or you just want to have a chat as to how you can implement some of these things in your life, by all means, reach out, contact me. I will be posting the link below. I'm currently running an introductory special offer for anyone that hasn't worked with me in the past. For a one-on-one consult. So I'll post the link to that below the video, and if you're interested in having a chat, by all means contact me via that link. All right, much love.